Okay.
Okay, so Greg-san, can you talk a little bit about why you have sort of chosen F hole? Because this would be a little quite unique feature of this guitar.
Yes, indeed. I can remember always liking the F holes on the Fender thin line Telecasters that came out in the early to mid 70s, and so that was quite an influence of really interesting design, and that gave a different sound to the guitar with its slightly semi-acoustic sound. From an electric guitar perspective, of course, I played over the years guitars with F holes, repairing them. I never owned say Gibson 335, other guitars like that. But when Brian May showed me his original plans, because soon after I arrived in England in 1996, July 1996, to meet Brian and Pete Malandrone, Brian gave me his original plans. I had them photocopied. So he knew they would assist me quite a lot. And of course there were, to my amazement, pages of the original plans that have an F hole, which looked quite amazing. So I remembered this and kept coming back to those occasionally, looking at the original plans through the making of John Paul and George Burns. So that stuck in my mind and thought it was an attractive feature. And because Brian's concept of the hollowed chambers in the body I felt was such a good idea, having the F hole just helps that, I think, slight acoustic feedback or resonance in the body. So that's been an attractive aspect.
So after you're playing these real ones, did you feel that this is the kind of really good resonance of this guitar?
Yeah, I think it adds something really nice to the guitar. It helps release some of the tonality, helps the guitar breathe a little bit, helps the tonality of the New Guinea rosewood, which can have quite a dense sort of resonance to it. I think that gives a bit of life to those middle ranges and bottom ranges. Okay, so these are the two pickup spacings on the pick guards that we have experimented with. This first one has the pickups in the exact same position calculated for Fender scale that Brian May had his on the Red Special. Red Special, of course, was 24-inch scale, Fender 25.5-inch scale. So we've agreed to try both and assess the tonalities of the pickup combinations, the individual sound, also the combinations. And after a few days of experiments, and in fact we've swapped pick guards back and forth between guitars, we've come to the opinion that we slightly prefer the wider, more Fender-looking spacing, the pick guard being in that guitar now, that we feel that has some tonal advantages in both the single pickup sound, but especially the combined sound in both in phase, out of phase, in series and in parallel. And it probably looks slightly more balanced too, to the eyes, especially of a Fender or a Gibson player, having a pickup close to the neck.
Yes, and this guitar has only
22 frets with the Fender 25.5-inch scale length, and slightly wider neck than standard Fender. The neck was modelled on a custom Stratocaster neck I made for famous Australian guitarist Ian Moss. I made the guitar back in 1989, and it has ended up being his favourite Stratocaster. So it's 1 11/16 approximately at the nut, at the 22nd fret, 2 1/4 inches approximately at this end, which is very similar to Gibson. It's actually slightly under both of those measurements. but we're not telling anyone what it is. And also the depth of the neck and the shape of the neck is very, very similar to that neck I made for Ian Moss. And that's probably the most comfortable neck shape that I've made. I've made a lot of necks very similar to that shape over the years. So that's one I really love. The fingerboard curve is, let's remind me, well, it's very close to a Gibson 1958 335 that I measured, a Jim Kelly guitar, Australian player. And fingerboard curve is very close to 12 inches, is that correct? Right, yes. Five-way switch, I really love. I've played a lot of Stratocasters over the years. Probably the most guitars I've owned and played have been Fender Stratocasters. And I just love the functionality and the ease of use that the Stratocaster five-way gives. This gives some additional features in the sort of super five-way. You can get the pickups together in series and out of in series or parallel. Also the in phase or out of phase in the middle. So it's when it's combined with these two, we can flip that in phase or out of phase. So a lot of tonal possibilities there. But the series and parallel thing I really like, of choosing either these two together in position 2 or position 4, those two together, series, so the Brian May sound, or parallel, which
still hum cancelling.
And still hum cancelling, yes. Hum cancelling in that position, hum cancelling, although it's time to go in that position. So that's a big advantage. You should buy one of those. So very quickly, the other features, the Brian May roller bridge and the tremolo tailpiece is, in my opinion, the best tremolo system on any production electric guitar. I think it's a work of genius. That was one of the things I was inspired during my time in 1998 in Allison Hill Brian's studio. I felt it was so important to try to take out to the Fender guitar playing world or public these wonderful ideas of the roller bridge, the great feeling tremolo system, how well it stays in tune, the incredible sound of the Burns Trisonic in that Brian May mode, humbucker, punchy but with definition. So there were so many great aspects of the Brian May guitar that I thought about many times, that I felt motivated to design a version that Fender players would feel very comfortable with. That's turned out to be this guitar after many years.
That beauty still exists. I mean, it's
Indeed.
inherited, yeah.
So this system made by Ron Smith in the USA is beautifully made, precision made, and works extremely well. That's been inherited from the Brian May Red Special. The volume knob I've placed like a Stratocaster, very close to your right hand palm position, so it's very easy to turn the volume with little finger. This can flick up and down the in series or parallel, that being series down, that being parallel up. The tone pot, of course, you can push middle pickup in or out of phase. So just the basic functions of volume control, five-way switch, and if you want in or out, series or parallel. Yeah, so very simple, but everything close to the hand. Detachable neck, taking a leaf out of Leo Fender's very practical approach. Yeah, Fender Guitars. Leo Fender was the great designer of the electric guitar. It took an extremely straightforward, practical, and quite a simple approach and revolutionized electric guitar manufacturing. So I've always been inspired by Leo Fender's great thinking, his great concepts, the products he designed with his team, and so this carries one of those ideas forward, the practical aspect of the detachable neck. It's that in itself cuts down manufacturing costs, allows replacing of the neck if in case of accidents or breaks or anything, and allows a repairer to do refrets more easily by being able to take the neck off or other work on the neck. There's an advantage in that.
When you tested this one, how about the sustain of this? It's really good.
I felt that it has fantastic sustain. I think there's no disadvantage to having a glued-in neck like my George Burns. It seems fantastic. The whole package with the slightly semi-acoustic nature of the F-hole, the hollow chambers, really sounds beautiful. It gives a lot of life to the sound, sustain, richness. So I don't think the detachable neck has any disadvantage in sound.
It was an advantage.
Yeah.
Finally, we choose the new vinyl rolls.
Yes.
Neck and body with Manemas.
Yes, indeed. So for the production Astronaut guitars, we've chosen to use the New Guinea rosewood veneer. We've selected the veneer ourselves 2 days ago. The New Guinea rosewood for the back of the guitar. We've selected pieces for our initial prototypes. Madagascar rosewood, which as close as we can get these days to the Brazilian rosewood I used on George Burns. A beautiful looking wood, very similar in look and in tone to Brazilian rosewood. New Guinea rosewood for the back of the neck. That headstock also has not nearly as steep angle as say Gibson. We're now down to 8 degrees, which we felt was a good compromise. Brian May's headstock is less than that, around 5 or 5.5 degrees, but has issues. Often strings rattle too much. There's not quite enough back pull on the strings that passes through the nut, so often there are sound issues. It's good for keeping the strings in tune, but the strings often have vibration rattles. When you bend the string, it goes ding 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 over the 0 fret. Another reason why we didn't use the 0 fret,
right.
We've gone like Fender, like Gibson. The 0 frets will add metal to metal friction, but also there's this strange ding 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 sound every time you bend the string sideways. It's ding 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 all the time. Even in the bottom strings, a groove gets worn in the 0 fret, so it's and it looks a little strange, let's face it, compared to most modern guitars. Not that that's an issue with the Brian May Red Special, because it looks marvelous in itself, but this is more akin to what I have been making in all my custom guitars since about 1980, so that's why I felt we'd go with. But if it was right for Leo Fender, then it's good enough for me. So yesterday, Kazu-san changed the mini switch for series parallel to a switch that I had on the shelf, which is slightly larger toggle activator, and that we felt that's good. It's easier. There's not much difference between it, but we thought that looked a little bit better and was just easier to actually flick and activate with your finger.
Probably tougher on the.
Possibly a little bit more robust, less likely to bend the control accidentally. But yeah, so I think that's what we'll go with, just using this on the next Astronaut guitars. I think that's just about covers it. Single layer pick guard, black pink pick guard made in acrylic.
Yes.
Yeah, and Fender style black knobs.
Yes, and actually, I made this one, this New Guinea one.
Yeah.
Top is
it's all solid New Guinea.
yes,
not
New Guinea.
veneer.
But next time
Yeah.
we will change.
Yes.
Because you you recommend it more good for? Just looks.
You mean the veneer?
Mhm.
Well, there's not much between it. In fact, I hadn't even looked and seen that wasn't veneer. Well, surely that's easier from manufacturing to use plywood with veneer on top. Using the solid timber is more expensive to try to get that and have that thickness down, cut and thickness. More likely to get maybe warping or bending.
Yes.
So I think it's sensible from a manufacturing point of view to make it like my George Burns with plywood and veneer. And that'll look fine. The veneer that we chose was spectacularly beautiful. So I think that's produce a great guitar. So again, what would Leo Fender do? He'd use the plywood. He would use plywood and veneer because that's a practical way to do it. That reduces costs.
Yes. Okay.